We have a mega boxing card coming on Saturday the 16th of August, Saturday night from Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. Dillian Whyte v Moses Itauma is the headline fight, and we also have quite a good undercard as well, some interesting bouts which will be going on. I'm going to take a deep dive into each fight and have a look at each individual fighter. I'll give my opinion on how I think the fight is going to go, who I think is going to win, and yeah, you can join in the discussion in the comments below and let me know if I've got anything wrong or if you feel differently about the fights this week. But one thing's for certain, I'm very, very excited to see how each fight goes. If you do want to support the channel, please do hit the like button, and every subscribe does mean a lot. At the moment I'm trying to build the channel up, so any support I can get at the moment is massive for myself. But without further ado, enough chatting, we'll get straight into the first fight. Okay then, so the first fight on the undercard is Hayato Satsumi and Case Ashfaq. It's a super featherweight battle, and I'll go through the records of each fighter first of all. So Satsumi currently has a record of 7 wins, 0 losses, perfect record. He's got 4 of them wins by knockout, and he's got 3 wins by decision. And then you've got Ashfaq, whose record is 13 wins, 3 losses and 1 draw. 5 of his wins have come by knockout, 8 wins have come by decision. So Satsumi is a Japanese fighter, and all 7 of his fights have been held in Japan. He hasn't had a fight outside of his home nation, so this is the first one that he's having, and I think that can play a factor in the fight, because it's going to be how he's going to adapt. Obviously he's used to having a crowd around him from his native Japan. That's going to be different, and he's also getting in the ring with quite an experienced fighter in Ashfaq. So Ashfaq is a British fighter, and coming into this fight, I believe he's going to be low on confidence. He's only won 1 of his last 4 bouts, so he's coming into the fight on poor form, and 100% he can put that right with a result in this bout. But I think it's going to be difficult for him. Satsumi's slightly taller, I believe, but he's got a bigger reach, so that's difficult for Ashfaq to adapt in the ring. How's he going to deal with someone who's got a longer reach, is a similar height to him? It's going to make him difficult to get close to Satsumi, and I also believe that Satsumi is a better technical boxer. So I think that my prediction would be that Satsumi's going to take this on points. He's going to get the decision. I don't think he's going to knock him out, and I still think it'll be a close fight, but I'm going to go with Satsumi for the decision personally. Anyone below, let me know if I've got that wrong, or if you think something different. It's just the way that I see it personally. It's just hard to see past Satsumi. He's got a perfect record. He's going to want to keep that. His first fight outside of Japan, I think it's going to be massive for him. It's going to be massive for his experience, and obviously him moving forward in his career. I think this could be a great fight for himself. But without further ado, we'll take a look at the second fight, which is quite a big one. So the second fight on this undercard is Filip Hrgovic versus David Adeleye. It's a heavyweight fight, and these are 2 big heavyweights. So Hrgovic is coming in with a record of 18 wins and 1 defeat. 14 of his wins have come by knockout, and 4 wins have come by decision. And Adeleye's record is 14 wins, 1 defeat. 13 of his wins coming by knockout, with 1 win coming via a decision. So Hrgovic is a Croatian fighter, Adeleye is a British fighter, and Hrgovic is, for me, the more experienced fighter. He's had a lot more top quality bouts than Adeleye, I'll put it that way. So Hrgovic is obviously, his defeat come to Daniel Dubois, who's just lost to Alexander Usyk for the second time, and Adeleye's loss come to Fabio Wardley. Daniel Dubois is a top opponent, and obviously it's no slouch on Hrgovic that he's lost that. It doesn't demean his ability as a boxer. I think he's a fantastic boxer, and I've got him slightly ahead of Adeleye for this fight. When you look at who he's beat as well, he's beat Joe Joyce and Zhilei Zhang, which are 2 top quality heavyweights as well. So the experience is definitely there, and I'm definitely favouring Hrgovic. He's slightly taller. He stands at 6'6". He's got a slightly longer reach than Adeleye, and I just think it's going to be difficult for him to try and work around Hrgovic. And by the way, Adeleye also has his own pedigrees. He's won the European heavyweight title, the English heavyweight title, and only just in April did he win the vacant British heavyweight title. So he's definitely got accolades to his name. Obviously, Hrgovic has held the WBC and IBF international heavyweight titles. So both of them have their own pedigrees. Both of them have their own faults. But I think I'm going to go with Hrgovic, and I am going to go with a Hrgovic knockout as well. Two heavy punchers, with it being a heavyweight clash. Hrgovic has won 14 of his 18 fights by knockout. Adelaide won 13 of his 14 fights by knockout. So don't get us wrong, I wouldn't be surprised to see Adelaide potentially catch Hrgovic with a shot that could put him down and he wouldn't get back up from it. That's what happens when you get in the ring with these types of fighters, the heavy punchers, and you've got to be extremely careful. And I think Adelaide's got to be careful to watch out for Hrgovic. Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's necessarily the height that's the big factor, because they're both similar. Hrgovic is 6'6", Adeleye is 6'4.5". So the height's similar, but it's the reach. Hrgovic has got 6 inches more reach than Adeleye, and that is going to play a big factor in my opinion. But yeah, I'll go with Hrgovic knockout. And without further ado, we'll take a look at the next fight on the undercard. Okay then, so the third fight on this undercard is Raymond Ford versus Abraham Nova. It's a super featherweight bout, similar to the Satsumi Ashfaq fight. And what we've got with Ray Ford is we've got a record of 17 wins, 1 defeat and 1 draw. 8 of his wins coming by knockout and 9 of his wins coming by decision. And then for Nova, we've got 23 wins, 3 defeats, 1 draw. 16 of his wins coming by knockout and 7 of his wins coming by decision. So Raymond Ford is an American boxer and Abraham Nova is a Puerto Rican fighter. He's got a lot of experience. I'm just going to go with Abraham Ford because I think technically is a better boxer, and I'm going to go with Ray Ford as a decision to win this fight. Again, I'm going to base this on the fact that Abraham Nova is coming into the fight on poor form. Yeah, Abraham Nova's only won 1 of his last 4. If you go back a little bit further as well, in his last 6 bouts, he's only won 2. He's lost 3 and he's drawn 1. The draw was his most recent fight against Humberto Galindo. So yeah, I'm going to go on the basis that I think, again, confidence plays a massive factor in boxing. You put so much into the training camps, and if you're not getting the result that's required or that you expect, it plays its part. I think they're both capable fighters. Not too much punch power. It's not a heavyweight battle. It's going to come down more to the technicality, the skill of the boxer, and I believe that Raymond Ford has that ability to beat Abraham Nova on points. I'd be surprised if there's a knockout in this one, although Nova has shown that he can win, but obviously by his 16 knockouts that he's already won by. But like I said, I think Nova's not going to have enough to compete with Raymond Ford, and I believe the American is going to get the decision. So let me know your thoughts on that fight. Do you think that's the right call? Would you predict Abraham Nova to possibly get the verdict on this one? Or do you think I'm completely wrong and one of these opponents will knock each other out? I just can't see it happening. Especially in the lower weights, I think it's more about the technical skill of the boxer rather than the power. When you move up to heavyweights, I believe that's where you see more knockouts and you see more power involved, a bit like Hrgovic, Adeleye. But yeah, let me know your thoughts below on who you think's going to win that bout, and we'll move on to the penultimate fight on this card. Okay then, so the fourth fight, the penultimate fight, is Nick Ball versus Sam Goodman. This fight is for the WBA featherweight title, which Nick Ball, as we mentioned before, he beat Ray Ford to get that title. So now he's trying to defend it against Sam Goodman, and Nick Ball's record is 22 wins, 0 losses, 1 defeat. 13 of them wins by knockout, 9 wins by decision. And then you've got Goodman's record, which is 20 wins, 0 losses, 8 wins by knockout, and 12 wins by decision. So two very, very capable fighters. and two fighters who have a perfect record to defend in this fight. Nick Ball is obviously the holder of the title. Sam Goodman's going to try and win that off him. Goodman is an Australian-born 26-year-old, slightly taller, slightly more reach than Nick Ball. But again, it's a featherweight fight, and I'm going to go with skill on this one, and I'm going to say that Nick Ball will beat Sam Goodman. I think, although these two have an undefeated record, I think this one could be slightly more convincing of a victory than the ones we've mentioned before. Maybe Filip Hrgovic might be slightly convincing, but I believe Nick Ball, Liverpool-born, is a top class boxer. He showed that in the performance against Raymond Ford when he originally won the featherweight WBA title, and I believe he's going to show it again against Sam Goodman. Obviously, he's older, he's more experienced than Goodman, so that will play a factor. Yeah, I just think, even though Goodman has got a perfect record and Nick Ball has got a draw on his record, I just believe he's so much better technically. When you've seen him fight before, his pedigree in boxing, the opponents that he's faced, is of a higher quality in my opinion than Goodman. That's just how I see it. So yeah, for me, Nick Ball is a top boxer. British fighter. He holds the title. He's going to want to defend that title. He's going to want to put a loss on Goodman's record, and I believe he's going to do that by decision. I don't think he's going to knock him out. I think it's going to be a tight fight. When you notice with title fights, nobody wants to give too much away. You want to keep your cards close to your chest. Don't give too much away in the early rounds. And obviously 9, 10, 11 and 12 is the championship rounds where something might go down, but by that point, obviously, you'll either know if you need to go for it or if you've got the points in the bag from the earlier rounds. But yeah, Nick Ball for me, top boxer, and I think he's going to get the win on points over Sam Goodman. It's nothing against Sam Goodman. I think he's a fantastic boxer. I just don't think he's quite got the quality or the level of Nick Ball. But I'll be interested to see how that one goes down. I'll definitely be tuning in for all of these fights, and I'll be interested to see who wins that fight for the WBA featherweight title. And what we'll do now is we'll move on to the headline fight, which I think everybody has been waiting for, to see what we think of that one. So the final fight of the video, the headline act, Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte. This is a big one. Dillian Whyte is a very experienced fighter, and he's fought a lot of big names. He's lost to some, he's beat some. Moses Itauma is the young kid, the up-and-coming kid on the block. So for him, his record is 12-0. He's won 10 by knockout and he's won 2 by decision. He's a very, very big puncher, powerful puncher. His nickname is the Wrecking Ball. And then you've got Dillian Whyte, whose record is 31 wins, 3 defeats, 21 wins by knockout and 10 wins by decision. And obviously his nickname goes by the name of the Body Snatcher. So who's going to come out on top? You've got the Body Snatcher and Dillian Whyte, or you've got the Wrecking Ball and Moses Itauma. I watched Moses Itauma's fight against Dempsey McKean, where he knocked him out in the first round, and he is a devastating fighter. I've seen some people compare him to the modern day Mike Tyson. I think it's a bit early to be going on them sorts of predictions, but he's definitely got potential to be a fantastic fighter. And what he likes to do is he likes to go in there and get the job done early. Dillian Whyte, obviously, like I say, he's the older man, he's the more experienced man, he's had a lot more fights. I think he's had his best days are behind him. He's out of his prime now, and we've seen that in some of the more recent fights that he's had. Although he has won a lot of his more recent fights, I do believe Moses Itauma is going to be a difficult test for him. When you look at who Dillian Whyte has fought, he's beat Chisora twice, he's beat Joshua Parker, he's won his last 3 fights, and also some of the fights that he has lost. He's lost Anthony Joshua, he lost to Tyson Fury, he lost to Alexander Povetkin, who he then beat straight after in the rematch fight. So there's potential there with Dillian Whyte for an upset to be caused, but I do think if he does win, it would be an upset, because you've got 20-year-old Moses Itauma, who's the new kid on the block, who's trying to come in and cause a ruckus in the heavyweight division. I think this kid's going to be one to watch, and if he does get the result against Dillian Whyte, because in all fairness to him, he has had 12 fights. The Dempsey McKean one's possibly the most notable fight that he's had. This is a big name who he's fighting, and I think it's the first big name, in my opinion, that I think he's fought. So this is a test for him just as much as it's a test for Dillian Whyte. And I think the pressure is on Itauma. I don't think there's any pressure on Dillian Whyte. There's no expectation. I mean, if you look at the height Dillian Whyte is taller, and Moses Itauma has a longer reach, so them two will work against each other. What's going to prevail? Is it going to be the height of Dillian Whyte? Is it going to be the reach of Moses Itauma? For me, I think the reach plays a bigger factor than the height in any case, because it allows Moses Itauma to control the distance between him and Dillian Whyte. Does he want the fight to be close? Does he want the fight to be separated? He's in control of that all the way through. So yeah, phenomenal punching power from Itauma. I am going to go with Itauma to win, and I'm deciding whether I think he's going to knock him out or he's going to win on points. Almost all of Itauma's wins, only 2 have been by decision, 10 have been by knockout. It's just whether he's got enough power in him at the moment to knock down somebody like Dillian Whyte. Like I say, the fighters that he's fought before are not as experienced, so he will know how to navigate himself in the ring. I'm going to go with an Itauma knockout. I'm going to go with it because he has got a blistering punch on him. I wouldn't want to be on the end of one of Moses Itauma's right hands. So yeah, I'll go with a knockout for Itauma. I'm not completely writing Dillian Whyte off as well, by the way. I think he's a phenomenal fighter. I just think he's had his best days already. I don't think there's much more that he can offer. And like I say, when you look at the basis of it, Itauma's young, he's got loads of potential, and you look at Dillian Whyte, who's probably already had most of his big fights. I can only see it going one way. But Dillian Whyte, it's an experience for Itauma to learn from someone like Dillian Whyte and see how somebody so experienced does it. But yeah, that's my prediction for the undercard fights and for the headline act. Let me know if you think I've got anything drastically wrong. Obviously it's just a bit of fun, it's just a bit of prediction. But let me know your thoughts as well anyway. How do you think each fighter's going to get on, and how do you think each bout's going to go? Are you excited for the headline act? Because I think this is going to be a brilliant fight. It's almost like the professor and the student. Dillian Whyte's been there and done it, and Itauma can possibly eclipse and go on to do bigger and better things. I wonder if he does win the fight, who he would go on to fight after Dillian Whyte. There's a couple of opponents that's out there for him probably that will be available, and obviously it would depend on how fast he would want to get back in the ring if he does get the victory. So yeah, I'll be looking out for that. I'll definitely be tuning in on Saturday night. It's on DAZN, and it's obviously being aired from Saudi Arabia and Riyadh, so make sure you tune in and make sure you watch it. I think it's going to be a brilliant fight, and obviously if you're a boxing fan, then you'll definitely be wanting to see how each opponent gets on. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts below. As I've said, I really appreciate every like and subscriber that I can get as I'm trying to build up the channel. And yeah, I'll be looking to do more boxing card reviews and previews. What I'll probably do is I'll probably do a review of the fights. I'll try and get that up after the weekend and seeing how each fight went on, seeing if I got the fights right or wrong, if there was any surprises in there. So I'll definitely try and get that up for you as well. And obviously we'll have a look ahead to any more boxing cards that I think may be interesting that we can talk about on the channel. But thank you very much for watching, and until the next one, take care of yourself.
Artlist.io